Welcome back, everyone. In this video, you'll be shown from the north end of the bridge, around the north end ridge, to where the crime scene location where they were found, then across the creek. Yeah, here, I map it out a bit. Across the creek there, and then back up to the south end of the bridge. There seem to be some natural paths through here. And right now, it's a pretty steep drop off the side of this. I'm absolutely terrified to walk that bridge. I don't like heights. There's plenty of people that have walked it safely, and there's not any, never heard of anyone falling off of it though either, so. So this is just along the north end. It kind of winds around. This gives a good idea, approximation of the terrain back in 2017 of how it was in February. Technically, this video was taken in 2020, in December. And I was out there the other day with Randy Gravett has a walk a couple times a year usually to guide people and show them everything out there. And there was one just recently, and several people walked out there, and it's not that bad going this way. But as you'll see in a little bit, the terrain changes quite a bit. You know, we're still about 60 feet up, and that drop is pretty straight down. These paths seem like animal paths, or at this point, probably people were walking on through here. But there's quite a few paths here through the woods. Huh. I summed up everything I just said in in one sentence there on the screen. Very beautiful out there. We don't know any of the paths the bridge guy took. We have no idea. It's been discussed ad nauseum that this potentially is one of the paths. It could have taken from the crime scene back to the trail system. Excuse me. We don't know if he went back toward the trail system, or he went to his house the other direction. So yeah, I it looks like you might be able to get down those, but no, you'd get hurt pretty bad. and it changes, the terrain changes pretty quickly. You know, if these videos can help you kind of understand what it's like out there, especially if you can't come to Delphi and do it yourself. And with more people coming to this case, I just think it's important people to be able to have this kind of resource. So could yeah, when I was out there it was 57 degrees. Yeah, it gets warm going up and down those hills. You know, I work a desk job, and you know, I'm not out trouncing around. And the current suspect, Richard Allen, who's been charged with two murder charges in this case, in the Delphi case. He doesn't seem to be in the best of shape either. So it's interesting. I'm sure adrenaline, um, I don't know. He was, what, 45 or something at the time of the murders. So here's where we start to go down toward the ravine. This ravine starts on the west side of the cemetery on 300 and empties into the Deer Creek here. And actually, right across there, by the best estimation, right there is the crime scene across the ravine. Now, all we really have to go by, all that I have to go by, are Alexis McAdams' tweets with pictures where the crime scene tape was still up. We have the Ron Logan search warrant affidavit that gives coordinates. And when I was out there, there's a YouTube channel called Marvin Frank True Crime, and they were out there during Randy's walk a couple weekends ago, and we did the best we could to find those coordinates, and it was pretty close to the edge of the water, and shortly just past this ravine here. So the ravine is what's hard for people to understand and to realize is how tall these banks are along this water and how difficult it is to get up them. And there's really only a couple spots where you can get up from the water level to the land. You can kind of get a slight idea with that. So yeah, you can see how tall, they're like 6 feet tall, these embankments, 6 to 8 feet tall. And you kind of have to climb. Like, it's doable, but you really have to climb. And Richard Allen was short. So there's really only a couple of spots where he could have gone up to get on to Ron Logan's land where he murdered the girls. And the ravine is probably one of them, which is interesting because of how far down the water you really would have to come from running from the south end of the bridge. We don't know any of the details about what happened after the start of the abduction of the girls on the south end of the bridge and to where their bodies were found. But yeah, that barbed wire marks Ron Logan's property, the corner of it. And also is that we're basically looking at the crime scene area. I think it's important to bring up, I watched the captain's new video today the Captain Howdy. You should definitely go watch it if you get a chance. And he was showing Becky Patty and talking about, this isn't some story. This isn't some thing to watch. And these these girls had families and friends and lives that were absolutely stolen from them. And it is such a tragedy and a horrible thing. And sometimes we get desensitized. And I, it was just such a great reminder. And I want to do the same now to, this isn't a game. These girls' lives were lost, and their families are still hurting very badly. And hopefully all of this, the justice is coming for these families, and it's not even then it's not just. It is a beginning of some kind of healing, but I don't think they will ever heal. So, you know, supporting these families is our ultimate thing here. So, as you saw, I was talking about the height from the water all the way up to the cemetery is very, very steep. We saw Ron Logan and reporters in those interviews early on in the case of him walking up and down that steep property, and it's really impressive, actually. It's very, very difficult to climb up that stuff. So, as you can see, we're still on the north side of the Deer Creek here, and there's land masses in the middle. When the water gets low, it's easier to walk across the creek. And but there's really only one spot where they could have crossed from without jumping down 6 to 8 feet to get in the water. I can't, even the video doesn't do it justice, really, as to how difficult this all is. And it makes sense that I don't know if it proves that they were local, because you can look and you can figure it out, kinda. But somebody that already knew this terrain and where to go to cross easily definitely hints at somebody who's done this, knows this area well. Yeah, the embankment is tall. It's hard to stress that enough. You're not just jumping off of it or sliding down these embankments. There's some, you could climb up it, but it's just not easy, and so it's pretty crazy, really. Still on Ron Logan's property, in the southwestern portion of his property. And we were mapping it out the other night. It's like 1,300 feet from his house. I think that's right. Quite a distance. It's like 5 football fields or something like that. Almost 475 yards, so that's what I remember. And so a lot of this video right now is me trying to figure out how to get down to the water safely. And it's pretty fast in spots, because as with shallow spots, and it moves faster. So when this floods, it would be very dangerous. in the bottom of the river or the creek bed, it's not flat across. It's very it's deeper in some spots, shallower in others. Yeah, uh, I say notice how difficult it would be to pull a body up there, and some of this stuff makes me uncomfortable. But to point out some facts and show some things, sometimes we have to navigate uncomfortable territory, unfortunately. So you notice how far east I have to walk to get to the other side, basically. And right up there is the are some homeowners on the south end of the bridge. So this is the embankment on the south side of the creek. And it's tall, but where I'm headed is the really the only spot where you can just walk onto it. And the camera again doesn't really show how, yeah, the bridge is pretty far from, I mean, there's some distance. You can barely see it through the trees there on the kind of the right side of the screen. So we've walked a ways. You can start to see the bridge a little closer, and there's paths out there. Hunters hunt this area. Fishers go out there. Fishermen, fisher people. People camp out there, as we'll see in a minute, which is a weird thing. It's very steep. It is, and you can walk. Like, see how you can go there, and then you can walk up that hill. This embankment, you're not really just walking down either. There's a good shot of the how long that bridge really is. Over 800 feet long. Yeah, when I was out there, I noticed a tent, and I actually, to my eyes, it looked like somebody was in there, but I don't know that. I was like yelling out, hello, hello, that kind of thing. And just saying, I don't know, stuff. And I actually had walked close to it, but then I was like, I made up my mind. I was like, no, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna leave them be and go on my way. I think it's just a hunting blind somebody had out there. Probably not anybody in there. My mind was playing tricks on me, but I'm by myself, and it was weird to stumble across. And any time I've gone out there, otherwise, I've never seen a tent. Is this a meth cookery? Well, no, but there have been a lot of rumors about drugs being cooked out there because it's so remote. Um, but like to haul all your crap out there, and actually these days, the property owners have a lot of deer cam, trail cams out there, and motion sensors that trigger alerts on their phones. So they don't want people out there. And I get it. There's people constantly tracking all over for their safety and stuff. So, um, There's corn that, like, they were feeding deer so they could hunt deer, right? It makes sense. These pillars are old, hold up this bridge. And so this is kind of how, coming down from the south end of the bridge, down the hill, it is very steep and difficult. And this is really the only way to do it without absolutely wrecking yourself coming down these hills. And this is only from the private drive. This leads up to the private drive of the Weber home, as you can kind of see there. The Webers own all this property through here. This is all theirs, all private property. Yeah, and I can see why it was difficult to search the night. You can't really get vehicles in here, especially if the gate was locked at the end of this private drive. I will show you that gate in part 4. And look, we've come up quite a big hill, quite amount of distance, and that bridge is still really tall up there. And you can see here's the second hill. That's the hill where he would have said down the hill, and then they went down this hill that you're looking at. And then here's the second hill. Yeah, going down that one. Now, people have done it, but not gracefully at all, and not safely. So it looks like you can walk further back and come down, but it's not really that much different of a gradient. We don't know exactly where the down the hill is. I mean, we just don't. There was crime scene tape up at the south end in 2017. We have video. And so it's somewhere along there is where they came down. But we don't know the exact spot. And yes, that was a decoy duck or turkey or something. So I'm walking along. I'm about to climb up to the south end here. Now, if you follow that out, there's a shoe tree further down, and other people have shown that footage, and I have some. I may upload it just to continue to give ideas of the location and stuff. But here I am making the climb, and it's actually, when I was surveying, this side is easier because there's more to grab onto than the other side. Most people think they went down the other side, but this side's actually much easier. It's like a ravine that runs all over the place through here. There is some drainage, but they're not huge pipes or anything. Grabbing onto the saplings help pull myself up. Trust me, doing this and holding a camera was very difficult. But yeah, that's the drive we were just on, and that's how far up we are now. Yeah, down this hill, yikes. And we're on the south end of the bridge now. Well, I will upload another one soon. Thank you for watching.